from seeing the beautiful shrine and being there in the blessed land, and also in the next to have their intercession, please recite a loud salawat upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة، روحي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء وأقل الفداء. Brothers and sisters, with me tonight is the night of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. وأقل الفداء يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. سفن النجاة الأعلام، من ركب سفينتهم نجا ومن تخلف عنها هلك وغرق. ثم أما بعد. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight we are exploring the subject of identity. It is indeed a very important subject matter to look into and probe within this particular subject, because it's something that is facing all of our youth. I think it's a challenge that is facing the youth of today more than any other time that has passed or lapsed in before our own eyes. The entire human history has been, without a doubt, a history of struggle to bring about an ideal society. This ideal society is indeed a universal idea. Not only Muslims hold such an idea. This idea has come to us across the course of history, that whenever there were reformers, sages, prophets, they always came with this particular idea of having an ideal society. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alludes to that in the Quran, that in times to come, though the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was backed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, backed by inspiration and wahi, backed by the Archangel Jibreel salawatullah wa salamu alayhi wa ala nabiyyina wa alihi afdal as-salat wa taslim, but the actual setup and actualization and materialization of such a society was not accomplished even during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why the promise for this particular ideal society was to come when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ in one instance, وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ in another verse in the Quran. So that particular idea of an ideal society, a perfect society, where the human being is able to achieve that kind of society, is to come. And it will come, of course, by the appearance of Sahib al-Asr wa al-Zaman, Ajjalallah ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. They all struggle to bring about such a community and a society. What is that mission that they wanted to achieve? Basically, that humanity, through its spiritual and moral growth, brings the establishment of a just and equitable community and society that they live in. It's an attempt in earnest to bring about a balanced individual exhibiting a highly spiritual life informed by absolute moral values through the primary institutions of socialization like family, community, religious centers, social networking, and so on and so forth. So basically employing every possible avenue in order for our spirituality to grow. The question that faces all youth today is, what is our identity and how we can preserve it? We believe that is our youth today who have been targeted by modernization that is taking place at an uncontrollable pace in our world today. We also believe that our youth are encountering the most serious challenge to their faith under the impact of a godless culture of modernity. There is a struggle in the world we are living in today between a godly driven individual and a godless driven individual or mission or idea or plan, or you name it, whatever it is. So basically in the world we live in today, there is a segregation between two worlds. A world that is moved by the presence of an almighty creator, right? And a world that is moved and propelled by the idea of a godless, culture or community or society or idea or plan or whatever you want to name it. This is a fact. Yes, there are the agnostics or whatever, but the major struggle is between these two particular forces. Youth, however, are being asked to give up certain family and social values and principles that were part and parcel of their identity and adopt in its place a sense of self-alienated, self-estranged imitator of everything modern, regardless whether that youth understands what this modern thing is all about or not. Khalas, it's new, it's modern, adopt it, right? It is called the mob mentality. Go with the flow, right? And Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayh has warned about this. عطروا مجالسكم بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. When he said that there are three kinds of people. Alimun Rabbani, a godly, driven, guided scholar. Someone who studied, he's convinced, has conviction, his iman is unshaken, he's been through all trials and tribulations and tests and what have you, and he arrived at the conclusion, the solid foundation and conclusion, that he is driven by Allah's guidance or God's guidance. No problem. These are free from worry in terms of their aqidah and convention. In passing, let me say this. I'm not worried about our elders. They came from our country, with established aqidah, they have their own value system, they've held to it. My concern is the youth. But in saying so, if these parents have brought their children to this country or any other country where there is an imminent threat of losing their identity and faith, then it becomes the responsibility of the parents to invest in everything possible to preserve the identity of this individual called son or daughter, right? I remember a story that happened once between one of our local community members and one of our local Sayyids. The father calls the Sayyid and he says, Sayyidina, I've tried everything with my son to teach him Arabic, but Arabic is not going through his head. What do I do? You know? So the man thought that the Sayyid reply is going to be that take him back home, you know, export him back to his country. He said, did you bother to speak his language first? Mente, you brought him here, right? You brought him to this country. Did you bother to learn English first so that you can at least communicate with him? No, there is a gap. There's a huge gap between us and our children, between us and our, you know, family. There's a major crisis at home that we cannot even communicate in the language, whether it is the verbal language or the mental language of our children, or the cultural language of our children, that they were raised in this country and they've adopted a certain lifestyle that we are not familiar with, so that we can break that barrier or generation gap between us and our children. They are in a world, and our parents is in a completely different world altogether. We still think that our children don't understand the ABC of life and what it contains and encapsulates in this world that we are living in, to such an extent that there are certain things that you and I as adults never knew about, whether in terms of social family structure or intimacy or you name it, until maybe we reach the age of 30 or 40. Yet an 8-year-old now knows more about intimacy and family structure than you can ever imagine. And we still deal with them on the basis of what we learned when we were at the age of 30. And then we expect to preserve their identity and their stature in this community that they live in. They have no clue what is happening. The new age of rationalization is characterized by its claim. Listen to this. This is very, very careful, and this is impacting the mindset of our children, our youth. They are being impacted by this particular statement. The new age of rationalism is characterized by its claim as the source of all human values. What does that mean? You don't need religion to learn values and principles. You understand? You following? So rationality alone is enough, right, to tell you how to develop a system that is based on certain values that are agreed upon by a group of people. You know, and over the course of history and over the course of development, you would find that societies develop new laws that in the past they may have been looked at as something abhorrent, right? As something abhorrent, unacceptable, even at times as something that is a disease, right? Yet over the course of history, and due to certain plans within these individuals that are in certain positions of power, they change these particular laws, right? So much so that we begin to think that what was abhorrent is now totally what? Normal. Because there is an absence of a religious import in what we are talking about. To such an extent that they pave the way from now till next 30 years from now to introduce a similar paradigm where what is now considered abhorrent will become what? Normal. What is abhorrent in today's world? Pedophilia. Pedophilia, right? I'm sitting on this member in the Islamic Center of England. I'll give this world 30 years and pedophilia will be legalized. Okay? You mark my word. If I'm still alive, come and visit me. If I'm dead, read Fatiha for me. Right? This is something that is certain, I'm certain about. Right? It's not because I'm a genius, but it is what we see happening. Right? What we see happening. So this new age of rationalism is characterized by its claim as the source of all human values that could be derived by each individual without any reference to a sacred authority like God or the revealed message. Yalla, you make your own paradigm. Whatever is right for you may be wrong for someone else, but at the end of the day, we have to agree that it is right. Secularism, on the other hand, confined the role of religion to the private domain. You want to worship Allah? Worship Allah, no problem. And you know what? This is not an idea that came to the West now. The first person to hold this idea in public was who? Who knows? Come on, come on. You need to know your history, brothers and sisters. Muawiyah. You know why? Because when Muawiyah came to power, you know what he said? Do you think I fought against you so that you can pray and fast? May you already pray and fast. I don't care. As long as you pray and fast between you and God, but don't come to the political arena. I'll cut you off. Huh? That's what Muawiyah said. You know? Already he established the question of what? Secularism from that day. Right? From the day he ascended to the throne over there, you know, over the body of the Muslim Ummah. He declared it openly. Do you think I fought for this post so that you can pray and fast? May you already do that. So in the private domain, pray and fast, no problem. No one will stop you. But come and speak against dhulm. Speak against injustice. Speak against something that is immoral. Speak about something that is inhumane. Straight away, you have to, what they call, adjust your language to political correctness. You know these funny terms they use? You know, wallah, political correctness. What is that supposed to mean? Huh? The media campaign of Bani Umayyah and Bani al-Abbas, by God, it was such a machinery that Fox News learned from them. Wallah. Fox News, they learned from the machinery of the media of Bani Umayyah and Bani al-Abbas. Secularism, as I said, on the other hand, confined the role of religion to the private domain of an individual, creating the dichotomy between spiritual and mundane, private and public. It denied religion and its mediating institutions any public function and influence in shaping matters of public policy. Religion has nothing to do with public policy. It is thrown out of the window completely as something that has no value. And slowly, slowly, our identity is reduced to accept such things, where we find ourselves no longer able to identify ourselves with anything. By the way, in passing, let me say this. Holding to your Islamic identity does not mean printing a shirt written on it, I am a Muslim. Right? Or when you introduce yourself, Salamu Alaikum, I am a Muslim. You know? No. It doesn't mean that. The identity of a Muslim person is already defined in the hadith of Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa salamu alayhim ajma'in. كونوا لنا زينا ولا تكونوا علينا شينا. Ahlul Bayt say, be to us, represent us on the basis of what? Of being an object of ornament. Something that people, when they look at you, they are taken by awe. You know? When they look at the behavior of a Muslim in public, when they see a Muslim walking on the street, he is identified and singled out straight away, not by his haircut, not by the number of tattoos he has on his hand, Ya Ali, Ya Hussein, Ajjal ala dhuhurak, Ya Aba al-Fadl. No. That doesn't identify you as a Muslim. What identifies you as a Muslim is your moral character and your uncompromising attitude towards your values and principles, no matter what the challenge may be, right? You stand aloof among any challenge that comes your way, and you are unshaken when you are hit or when you are tried by a particular challenge or trial that comes your way. That's what identifies you as a Muslim. And by the way, that identity should be identical both at home and outside the home environment. Unfortunately, our Muslim youth today have two identities. One at home, so that they can fit within the dynamics of the family, right? So when they come home, the parents see them, they look Muslim still, alhamdulillah rabbil alam. La hawla wa la quwwata. They still pray somehow. They still fast somehow, you know. They still possess or present a paradigm at home that looks Islamic, but only Allah knows what they're doing outside the house, right? Only Allah knows what these people are doing, how they are behaving. I went to ziyarah once with someone. Sometimes, you know, you go in life and you stop at a certain age, you can't go past that age. You know, for 10 years, I remember once, for 10 years in a row, wallah, subconsciously, people would ask me, how old are you? I'd say 22. So like I was stuck in time, you know. What happened to you? We asked you 10 years ago, you said you were 22. I said, I don't know, I just feel 22. So let's go past that point. Anyway, so he came in my room, subhanallah. He said, Sheikh, I want to tell you something, but in confidence. I said, yes. He said, you know the mosque you go to and you give your lectures at? I said, yes. I said, I said, please don't go into politics. Don't politicize now the debate. He said, no, I'm not into politics. But I want to draw your attention to something that you and the management are not aware of. I said, tell me. He said, there are 4 people that I personally know, apart from others, that come to the mosque with the sword of Imam Ali, and all 4 are Christians. They've turned Christians, all 4. They go home, they act Muslims. They go out and to the church and do mass on Sunday and everything, and I know them personally, and they come from the most reputable families in our community. I said, so and so, his name. I said, Ghayr, Baddil, please change the statement, alter it, please say something else. He said, you people are in deep sleep. You don't even know what's happening out there. You know why this is so? When I come later on, if I have time to cover my topics, you will know why. Because we have alienated the youth from decision making. We have alienated the youth from being an active parcel and part of decision making within our own setups. Under such domination of rationalism and secularism, there were questions about the whole significance of religion in the life of our youth, because they are facing these challenges. So to them, what is the significance of religion anymore? It doesn't make sense. I'll make my own value system. I will arrive at the conclusion of saying to myself what is right and what is wrong, and adjust it as time goes by according to my own interest in life. You know, sometimes, why is it that religion is important to bind you to these values? Because if someone tells you something that is not connected to a supreme power such as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have conviction in that authority that controls you, that controls your life, that has an impact on you, and you totally surrender into that authority, if someone who is not connected to that authority and gives you a piece of advice, what is the options before you if that is not binded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or by that authority? It is reduced to a mere series of recommendation where you are at liberty to accept or reject, right or wrong. Yeah, if I come to a youth and he says, Sheikh, give me a piece of advice, not on a religious basis. So I give him 4 or 5 different value systems. This person, is he bound to accept them, or is he at liberty to accept them or reject them? He's at liberty to accept them or reject them. But when it comes to a system where you have a belief, a solid belief in that authority, that authority is infallible, that liberty to accept or reject is no longer available. You are bound by that system, whether it is today or tomorrow or in 1,000 years. Why? Because you have conviction in the authority that gave such particular commands and orders to you, and you have no doubt about the wisdom and the authority of that deity, and in our case we call it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? It is no longer a me set of recommendation where you are at liberty to accept or reject. It's a faith-based conviction in these particular laws. These questions are so common now that seeking ways to encounter the state of confusion and alienation from one's religious and moral roots have overwhelmed our youth in general. It created in them a twofold identity system, one at home and one away from home, as I said. The root of this identity crisis is due to the following. Number one, the absence of healthy family life for the young at home. There's a crisis at home. There is a generation gap at home. There is no means of communication at home when it comes to matters of dire importance to the growth of that youth in that family, whether a girl or a boy for that matter, right? Both genders. We do not spend quality time with our children. Now, educationalists, just for your information, they say for your children to progress in life, and in particular in their academic life, you must spend quality time with your children. Guess what? To your shock, in as much as it is to my shock when I learned about it, how many minutes parents spend at home with their children after school? Quality time. Quality time. Not just any time. Quality time. On average. This survey was done on average. Take a guess while I drink some water. Bismillah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Take a guess. 1 hour? Half an hour? 2 hours? You want a bombshell? 6 minutes. 6 minutes of quality time is spent by parents and children after school. The rest is what? Take your bag, come and eat, go do your homework, go into your room, fix the garbage bin, take it out, bring it in, go. This is the time we spend with our children. No quality time, right? No quality time. We do not invest properly in our youth, and then we complain why our youth are losing their identity. We brought them here, invest in them, right? It is my responsibility as a parent for bringing these children into this country. And you know what? One of the biggest problems that parents have given to their children, the idea that this is not your homeland. Your homeland is always what is? Back home. Always living the dream of return. The dream of return. So I'm educated here. I was raised here. I carry the passport of this country. I was trained in this country. I work in this country, but it is not my country. Then whose country is it? Huh? Imam Ali salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, in one of his statements, he says what? Khayrul awtani ma waladak. La wallah. Khayrul awtani ma waladak. The best of countries that gave birth to you? No. He said Khayrul awtani ma hamalak. The best of homelands are the ones who honor you, carry you, provide you with service, respect your humanity, respect your dignity, respect the status of you being a human being. These are the best of homelands. The best of homelands, right? Well, I speak about my case, I'll speak about my case, so no one will be offended, right? I hope there are no Lebanese in this place. I'm Lebanese. So-called, in inverted commas. People don't believe that I'm Lebanese. I sometimes ask myself, what has Lebanon offered me? What has it offered me? Passport? I need a visa to more than 80 countries. Useless. Huh? I can't go with it anywhere, right? Except maybe to Iraq for ziyarah. Yes, come. And of course, the Islamic Republic, yeah, they will welcome you. Alhamdulillah, go in without any problem, right? Otherwise, useless, right? What has it offered me? Education, I have to pay for it. Do you know that? Even being a Lebanese, you have to pay for it. Health system, you have to pay for it. So alhamdulillah, I neither lived there, nor was I born there. Okay? So I was born in Kuwait. Again, similar problem. But you're Lebanese, so you're not entitled to any benefit. What do we do? This is the following point. What are these situations that I'm talking about? Is the following. The amalgamation and the mixing of what is specifically culture and heritage and what is specifically religious or religion. When it suits us, we change it. When it suits us, we change it. For example, you are not allowed to go to a mixed gathering. La haram. Haram. 1 month later, the father says to his daughter, your cousin's wedding is coming up. We have to go. It's a mixed wedding. Baba, you told me we can't go to mixed gathering. He said, but this is your cousin. Salamun alaykum. It's justifiable now. It's the cousin. Or as we call it in our language, it's the cuz. Right? It's the cuz, you know. So we have to accommodate. Forget religion now. Compromise, you know. And sometimes some dads go to the question of compromise. Not only go to mixed gathering, but you have to also, go on the dance floor. Yes, it's all right, no problem. So that child is confused. Hello, I can't come to even to the mosque, there is a partition. No mixed gathering, you're not allowed. All of a sudden, all this is gone. Overnight, over a minute. So we create a state of confusion in the mindset of this youth. You know? And you know what is the funny thing? Even worse than that. We as parents take our children to universities and colleges and schools, and we tell them, you know, because by default you have to be in a mixed culture, in a mixed environment, so you can speak to John, Mark, Joseph, but you can't marry him. No, haram. But I bring the same daughter to the mosque and I say to her, you cannot speak to Mustafa, Ja'far and Ali, but you have to marry him. Ajib. How does this happen? I don't understand. How? Of course, I'm not calling for an open, mixing of cultures together. We Allah, let's, have an open interaction system. No. We can have a certain supervised meetings and gathering and workshop between our girls and our boys in order to promote a healthy, interactive setup whereby what comes out of that healthy, supervised, interactive meeting, a healthy marriage based on Islamic principles. Right? Otherwise, you are bound to see your children marrying, I don't know from where. Right? That's a fact that we cannot escape. And we need to, think about these ideas and points. Number 4, the absence of community programs that empowers our youth to strengthen and understand their aqeedah. Majalis are good. These particular gatherings are good, but not enough. Not enough. We have to start venturing into what we call retreats, workshops, debates, all these things that motivate the youth participation must become part and parcel of our identity, part and parcel of what we can offer the community that we are living in and the community that we are serving. Our utmost intention, our utmost sincere work should be to serve, not to be recognized. Especially when we are in a position of leadership. We must train ourselves to be in a capacity of serving. Look at Imam Ali salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi when he finally got the Khilafah. Ibn Abbas came to him, Ridwanullah ta'ala alayhi. He said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what are you doing? You know why he asked him this question? Because Amir al-Mu'minin was sitting there. May Allah honor all of you. He was mending his sandals. He had his sandals in his hand. This is Amir al-Mu'minin, huh? Amir al-Mu'minin. Yani if you're at home, it doesn't take your manhood away if you put a button on your shirt. Don't create an issue to your wife the next day. You knew I had a meeting with the bank manager. You knew that this button was there. It's been there for a month. So it's been there for a month. What are you waiting? For her to fix it? Go get a needle and thread and fix it. End the problem. End the dispute. No. She has to do it. She has to do it. You know, one day someone came to me, he said, Maulana, these women don't listen. I said, huh? Khair inshallah, why? Why they don't listen? He said, I have a tap at home that it's been for 1 month dripping. And I say to my wife, Wallah haram, this is israf. Make sure you close the tap. And my wife tells me that we do, but it's still dripping. I said, so what did you do about it? He said, nothing. Every time I go home, I repeat the same thing. I said, go and get a plumber. What is wrong with you? You're creating a problem. You're giving anxiety to your family, to yourself. You're living on the edge of life with your a'sab, akhlaq, whatever. And it didn't occur to you to go and get a plumber. So why are you coming to me? To give you a ta'weez so that the tap will stop, dripping? I don't understand. Ajib. Yani it's the basics, the ABC of relationship at home between husband and wife. We've lost the plot in that regard as well. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Anyway, so to empower them, Amir al-Mu'minin is sitting there mending his shoes. While he's mending his shoes, Ibn Abbas says, it's time to go for the Khilafah. It's your turn. Now the Muslims have, unanimously voted you. He looked at him. He said, by Allah, your Khilafah does not mean to me more than the sneeze of a goat. You know all this Khilafah that you've been fighting for all this time, authority and power and seat and what, it does not equal to me more than the sneeze of a goat unless I establish what is right and forbid what is evil. So the idea about being in power is to bring about what? Justice, ideal society, serve the people. It's not about power. It's not about sitting in a high pedestal for everyone to come and say and salute me and say, Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. No, it's not about this. It's not about this. Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayh goes, to inspect his ra'iyah, his people that he's governing. He comes across a lady's house. She's in her house or outside her house, and he's greeting her. She doesn't recognize him as Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, how are you? What are you doing? She says, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never forgive this Ali ibn Abi Talib, the head of the state. He said, why? What happened? He said, he sent my husband to war and he had neglected me without anyone to look after me and my children. And I don't know the whereabouts of my husband. So he comes the following day carrying a sack of rice on his back with, different types of vegetables and fruits and what have you. He asked for permission to go into the house. That lady's house said, let's, divide the chores. Either you cook and I play with the children, or I cook and you play with the children. She said, no, I will cook, you go and look after the children and then bake the bread or whatever. So he goes near the fire and he says, taste the flames, O Ali ibn Abi Talib, for neglecting the orphans and the widows. This is leadership. He goes to serve. Then the neighbor comes, all of a sudden she says, what are you doing? She goes to the woman and says, you don't know who this man is? And while she is working, she's still going off at Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. She doesn't know. And then she said, Wayhaki, woe unto you. This is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. She goes to apologize. She said, no. It's my duty. Allahu Akbar. This is a paradigm that is ought to be followed. This is what we need to present to our children and to our community so that they will stick to their identity and feel proud about it and never sell it under any circumstances or waver when it comes to these challenges, right? Understand their aqidah. Therefore, in our quest to protect our youth, we need to take the following into perspective. 9 points. I hope I can cover them. To develop relationship with the youth who are under constant external pressure to conform to the demands that smack culture of disbelief and meaningless existence in their face daily. 2, look for the trouble spots. Our youth may be doing well in school or college, getting good grades and rave reviews, but appears obsessed with something or someone. Open your eyes, open your ears, open your heart, be there for them. That collides, their obsession collides with our values. We must talk to them instead of rebuking them or putting undue restrictions on them. Emphasize the value they had learned earlier. How could they be better off by living life based on morality and virtue, and how their whimsical decisions impact their life later on? We need to select the correct language for the issue to be tackled at hand. We may canvass the possibilities that cover the areas of decision making and negotiation not previously considered in our communication with them. Avoid stigmatization. We must be sensitive to their feelings. Harsh words against them, their friends, or nitpicking on innocent mistakes will lead to cementing their rebellious tendencies. Often boredom and lack of interesting alternatives lead our youth to explore other avenues. 5, establish underlying framework for action. We need to initiate discussions and let them identify priorities and set pilot projects instead of leading them by the nose and imposing set plan activities for them. Number 6, acceptance for community programs. Invite their participation instead of imposing a cut, dry plan prepared by the respected elders. Number 7, we need to try and use peer educators to gain access into smaller groups otherwise not accessible. Very few among the elders of the community have skills to attract the youth. They are seen as symbol of authority and power. Peer educators have a better chance to pull in the disenchanted. Number 8, we need to use influential personalities as role models. Expand from the idea of peer educators. Some communities have successfully used well-known personalities to influence youth behavior. And finally, we need to develop services that respond to the social needs and the political environment of the community being targeted. Youth are full of energy. We must not kill their interest and enthusiasm by long, boring meetings where they just sit and listen week after week after year after year. Right? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If we really want to produce people like Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, like Abbas, like Habib, like Muslim, like Burer, like Wahab, this is the kind of attitude we need to develop and bring into place. Again, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas proceeded towards Imam Hussein, asking him permission to fight. Imam Hussein did not grant permission, saying to Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, "You are the backbone of my army." Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas said to Imam Hussein, "لَقَدْ ضَاقَ صَدْرِي وَسَئِمْتُ الْحَيَاةِ." I've given up on these people. Negotiation doesn't work. Let me go and fetch water for the thirsty children. Imam Hussein granted permission. He said, "If that is the purpose, then go, oh Abu al-Fadl." Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas mounted his horse, carrying his sword sword in his right and the alam in his left hand, while he put the qurba or the water bag around his neck. He was able to enter the mashra'ah. When he touched the water, he felt the coolness of the water. He took a handful of that water, but then remembered the thirst of Hussein. He threw the water away and he began to chant, Ya nafsu min ba'd al-Hussein ho ومن بعده لا كنت أن تكوني. He filled the water bag, began to go towards the camp. While he was riding his horse, began to fight against the enemy lines as they attacked him. They couldn't overcome him, so they began to hide behind the trees until he came to a particular palm tree where Hukaym ibn Tufail was hiding. When Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, يعز عليكم يا مؤمنين, passed by al-Hukaym, he severed his right hand. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, إن قطعتم يميني إني أحامي أبداً عن ديني وعن إمام صادق اليقين. Then he continued, all in his mind that he wants to bring the water back to the children. Then another person by the name of Yazid ibn Ruqad al-Juhni was hiding behind another tree. When Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas came close, he struck him on his left. Awa Abbasa wa ghariba. He severed his left hand. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas said, Ya nafsu la takhshay min al-kuffari wa abshiri bi ni'mati al-jabbari qad qata'u bi baghyihim yasari fa aslihim ya rabbi harra an-nari. They began to shower him with all the arrows because someone by the name of Umar ibn al-Hajjaj said, woe unto you if this water reaches the camp of Hussein and Hussein drinks one sip of water, none of you will remain alive. The arrows showered on Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas like rain. One of those arrows fell on the water bag. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, while on the back of his horse, no right hand, no left hand, no water bag. He stopped there looking towards heaven while one of those arrows landed on the water bag and spilled it. Another arrow fell on his eye. His eye began to bleed. The blood went into other eye and covered it. The blood became solidified. He couldn't see. Another person came to Abu al-Fadl. Ya'uzzu alaykum ya mu'minin. It bereaves you to hear what happened next. He hit Abu al-Fadl with a metal pole on his head. Abu al-Fadl fell from his horse. You know, in passing, Fatima al-Zahra, salamullah alayha, came to one reciter. He was reciting majlis. He said, why didn't you recite a majlis for my son? He said, wallah, I recited all the majlis for Imam Hussein. He said, no, I'm not talking about Imam Hussein. He said, who are you talking about? She said, I'm talking about my son Abu al-Fadl. He said, wallah, I recited his majlis. She said, no, there is something you miss in your majlis. He said, what did I miss, Sayyididi wa Mawlati? She said, tell me, when a warrior falls from his horse without his hands, How does he fall to the ground? What does he put to protect himself and his body when he hits the solid ground as he is falling from his horse? Imam Hussein rushes towards his brother Abu al-Fadl. He finds him sitting there. Imam Hussein puts his head in his lap. Abu al-Fadl removes it 3 times. He does that. Imam Hussein inquires, "Oh Abu al-Fadl, oh my brother, why are you doing this?" Abu al-Fadl says, "Oh my darling brother, in an hour or so, you will be in the same position. Who will put your head in his lap?" Imam Hussein, when he came, he had placed his hands on his side with his back bent, saying, "الآن انكسر ظهري وقلت حيلتي."
Oh, my back has now been broken. These are the words Hussein said as he was beside the body of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, as he embraced his brother in his final moments. What does Abbas say to his Hussein? He says, "When I came into this world, O Abu Abdullah, you were the first one I saw. Let you be the last one I see. For there is an arrow in one eye, and the other is covered with blood. Wipe my eyes so that I can see you, Ya Abu Abdullah." Oh, how this tragedy tore apart our master. In their final embrace, the Imam could see tears pouring from the injured eyes of Abu al-Fadl. He says to Abu al-Fadl, "Why do you cry? Is that your Hussein with you? Is that your master alive?" Abbas replies to Hussein, "But who will be there for you, Ya Hussein? After me you have no one. Who is there for Hussein? Who is there to help our master? Wa wayla, wa gurbata, wa qillata nasra." They say when Imam Hussein fell from his horse, as his cheek embraced the sons of Karbala, he cried out, "Ya Ghiyath al-Mustaghithin." Who is there to aid Abu Abdullah at his time? Who will come to the aid of our master? Lady Zainab upon the hill sees one man with Hussein. Who is this man? It's a Shabab wa Husseina. Soon you will hear the cries of Fatima. Ay Bunayya, Bunayya, oh my son Hussein, oh my son Hussein, Ya Hussein. Sallallahu alayka ya Mawla, Ya ibna Rasul Allah. Sallallahu alayka ya Mawla, Ya Abu Abdullah. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Allah. Inshallah, if the brothers could join me in lamenting Abul Fadl Abbas on this special night by forming lines and following the brothers as well, inshallah, so that we can lament Imam Hussein and his brother. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Thar Allah, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. MashaAllah, if the brothers who are staying, come forward here. There's much space here. MashaAllah, all the brothers at the back, come forward, please. Help me to lament Imam Hussein with your voices and the beats of your chest, with the tears of your eyes and the sorrows in your hearts. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Thar Allah, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Thar Allah, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Thar Allah, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abul Fadl, Ya Abbas, Ya MashaAllah, Ya Abbas, Ya. Let your voices reach the haram of Bawab al-Hawa'ij. Ya Abbas, Ya Abul Fadl, Ya Abbas, 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 Ya Abbas. Ya Abbas, جيب الماء الأسكينة. يا عباس 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 جيب الماء. ما شاء الله يا عباس. يا عباس جيب الماء الأسكينة. يا عباس جيب الماء. يا عباس يا عباس جيب الماء. جيب الماء الأسكينة. يا عباس جيب الماء. يا عباس جيب الماء الأسكينة. يا عباس جيب الماء. جيب الماء الأسكينة. يا عباس جيب الماء الأسكينة. Abu Fazil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fazil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fazil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Inshallah, with your voices, we hope that our a'mal are accepted by Bab al-Hawa'ij, the door of wishes, Abu al-Fadl Abbas, who was the hope for all mankind, and who was the one who quenched the thirst of every yearning heart. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, with your voices, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, mashallah, mashallah. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Oh the bearer of water. When we were younger, oh brother, you would quench my thirst with water. When we were younger, oh brother, you would quench our thirst with water. We can hear the cries of the children, who is our water bearer. Who is our water bearer? When I want to see my father, I would look at your demeanor. When I want to see my father, I will look at your demeanor. Oh, the one who is my Haydar, who will now protect our sister. Who will now protect our sister? Oh, my brother, how can you come to ask me? Oh, my brother, how can I let you leave me? Oh, my brother, how can you come to ask me? Oh, my brother, how can I let you leave me? Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadil, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadil, oh the hopes of oh the bearer of water. When we were younger, oh brother, you would quench my thirst with water. When we were younger, oh brother, you would quench my thirst with water. We can hear the cries of children. Who is our water bearer? Who is our water bearer? When I want to see my father, I will look at your demeanor. When I want to see my father, I will look at your demeanor. Oh, the one who is my Haydar, who will now protect our sister. Who will now protect our sister? Oh, my brother, how can you come to ask me? Oh, my brother, how can I let you leave me? Abu Fadil, oh, the hopes of the children. Abu Fadl, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadl, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadl, of water. When the arrow struck on your eye, that arrow struck into me. When that arrow struck in your eye, that arrow struck into me. As the blood poured down on your cheeks, this is how my heart now bleeds. This is how my heart now bleeds. Oh, my brother, into pieces, seeing you has broken me. Oh, my brother, seeing you. Oh, my brother, into pieces, seeing you has broken me. And I don't know, oh, Abul Faz, how do I carry your body? How do I carry your body? What do I say when I will see my daughter? What do I say when she asks about her uncle? What do I say when I will see my daughter? What do I say when she will ask about her uncle? Abu Fadl, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadl, oh the bearer of water. Abu Fadl, oh the hopes of the children. Oh, the bearer of water. Oh, same. Oh, the backbone of this army, how can I bear your tragedy? Oh, the backbone of this army, how can I bear your tragedy? I call you, oh son of Ali, why don't you reply to me? Why don't you reply to me? The time has come, oh my brother, where you will go see my mother. The time has come, oh my brother, where you will go see my mother. After I lost you and Akbar, my back has now been broken. My back has now been broken. After you left, your Hussein is now alone. After you left, Zainab will be on her own. After you left, your Hussein is now alone. After you left, Zainab will be on her own. Abu Fazil, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fazil, of water. Abu Fadl, oh the hopes of the children. Abu Fadl, oh the bearer of water. Oh, the backbone of this army, how can I bear your tragedy? Oh, the backbone of this army, how can I bear your tragedy? I call you, oh son of Ali, why don't you reply to me? Why don't you reply to me? The time has come, oh my brother, where you will go see my mother. The time has come, oh my brother, where you will go see my mother. After I lost you and Akbar, my back has now been broken. My back has now been broken. After you left, your Hussein is now alone. After you left, Zainab will be on her own. After you left, your Hussein is now alone. After you left, Zainab will be on her own. Abu Fadl, Oh, the hopes of the children, Abu Fadil. Oh, the bearer of water, Abu Fadil. Oh, the hopes of the children, Abu Fadil. Oh, the bearer of water, Abu Fadil. Oh, the hopes of the children, Abu Fadil. Oh, the bearer of water, Ya Abba, Jibil Ma, Laskayna, Ya Abba, Jibil Ma, Laskayna, Ya Abba, Jibil Ma, Laskayna, Ya Abba, Jibil Ma. Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas. يا عباس أين المنتقي أين المنتقي أين المنتقي أين المنتقي أين المنتقي أين المنتقي يا حجة من الحسن عجل الله ظهورك يا حجة من الحسن عجل الله ظهورك. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He hastens the reappearance of our Imam and that we are with him. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accepts our a'mal, our services, our tears, our lamentation for Abu Abdullah and for Abu al-Fadl Abbas. May Allah accept our hajat, forgive the sins of our parents and our sins of the scholars of our community and everyone who helps within us and within around us. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless our mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially the shuhada around the world. For all those who need a surah Fatiha for them, please recite aloud salawat and surah Fatiha.